So, lads, today we're going to talk a little bit about this, and it's the entire is it Steph White's fault? Because this is a funny thing, because you can look at a box score and think if Caitlin Clark just she shot 2 threes that were in and out. If she shoots 2 of them a half an inch further to the right, 1 degree lower, she has 26 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and a Fever win. And it looks like a great game. But she didn't, and they lost. And you can look at situations like that, or you can look at the totality of the game, you can look at the totality of the team. And this is an interesting clip. And I mean this, Stephanie White should not be talking to Renee Montgomery. She shouldn't. She actually shouldn't. Like, there are a list of people that if you are a member of the Indiana Fever, you should not be speaking to. Renee Montgomery is one of them. Cheryl Swoops, Renee Montgomery, Cindy Brunson. Like, these people that have gone and basically gone out of their way to go after your player. And a lot of the people that are bringing the revenue to your team. And people are being like, oh, they're just talking about they're not talking about all fans, just the bad ones. No, she was talking about all of them. Renee Montgomery, and first of all, you should not be going online talking to an owner for another team. That's not something that should be happening. But there are a list of people that, like, if you're a Fever, and by the way, it works in the opposite way. Like, you don't want to talk to Jason Whitlock if you're a member of the Fever. You don't want to go talking to, like, any overly, unless it's literal team media, anyone, like, overly on Caitlin's side or making content about Caitlin. You don't want to go talk to myself. Like, it doesn't work like that. Renee, this is first problem I have with it, but let's take a listen to what Steph White says. And I'm going to give my opinion on this, and I need to preface this by saying Stephanie White's a really good basketball coach. Really good. But
Austin and unrivaled even coming into this, and she is such a powerhouse that I think, like, I know she's going to be happy to have Caitlin back because that was one of the high targets in the league of that 2-man game. So what does that look like now? Even Raven moving Caitlin off the ball, having a 2-man game with Aaliyah Boston, like, you have a lot of weapons, and people sometimes don't realize, like, that's when, like, the coaches now, it's your job to mesh that whole thing together and make it work.
Yeah, I think creating space for C and AB to do what they do in the 2-man game, you probably aren't going to see it necessarily on the first side of the floor anymore. Everybody's game plan is ready for that. I think playing.
that's basically what I got to. Everyone's game plan is for the pick and roll, so we're not running the pick and roll. That is the Steph White. Everyone wants a full court press Caitlin, so we're going to make her give the ball up. Like, Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark gets full court press, she creates an advantage. There are situations she should give the ball up. If Ryan Howard is picking her up. If Paige Bueckers is picking her up, Caitlin Clark just needs to go, meep, meep, and run in a layup. If AZ Foot's picking her up, there's a reason why I didn't pick her up full court. But this is a huge problem, and this is what the problem I have with Stephanie White. Stephanie White, I tweeted out. Stephanie White is not insane. Saying, oh, well, they prepared for us, so we're not going to run it. There are different coaching philosophies. There are absolutely different coaching philosophies. And she is a reactive coach. You can be a proactive coach, you can be a reactive coach. A proactive coach, a Mike D'Antoni, a Steve Kerr, I'm just trying to get off the top of my head, even in the a Cheryl Reeve, a Carl Smesco, a Nate Tibbetts. On the offensive end, Nate Tibbetts is very reaction. Nate Tibbetts just throws 75 different defenses at you. But he's doing that to impose his game on you. There are proactive and there are reactive coaches. What can a proactive coach do? A proactive coach can take a really good team and send them over the top, can get them playing well. A reactive coach, if you have the best team in the league, can only bring them down. I don't believe the Fever are the best team in the league. But if you do believe the Fever are the best team in the league, a reactive coach can only bring them down. You need a proactive coach. You need a coach that is basically says, we're the best team in the league, we're going to play our game, they're going to have to deal with it. And not, well, our opponents are going to do this, so they're expecting us to do this, we're going to do something different. Or look, this is how our opponents are going to play. We're going to prep for them. And that's basically what she is. So what Stephanie White's really, really good at is, if you have a average team, if your team is a 500 team and you're decent, on any given game, Stephanie White can game plan, can game plan and go in tactically in a game where you can be a sub 500 team and she's your coach and you're playing a 33-0 team and you can beat that team. You can beat that team. She's proven that. She's shown that. What Stephanie White cannot do is look at her team and say, we don't care about our opponents. If we do what we do, we win. We just need to do what we do, then we win. That's not Stephanie White as a coach. Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark are the two people that, as great, like Aaliyah Boston might be the best player in the world. Like that is, I'm not exaggerating. She might be the best player in the world. Like there are certain things. The Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston pick and roll. Like you watch Olivia Miles play. Cheryl Reeve is not trying to force Olivia Miles to be anything other than Olivia Miles. She's running the pick and roll every single offense. This is a team with championship aspirations. And every single offense, their rookie is dribbling the ball, then the left side of the floor, and running a pick and roll going right. Every single offense. And you might be saying, oh, but like, you know, what happens if they pick her up full court? She's going to run by them. Duh. Like every good guard can. What happens if, if the team's real knows she's going right? Well, it doesn't really matter. By the way, every single team knows every single set every team is running. Other than that weird football play they ran at the inbound where four of them stood in the far free throw line and just charged down the court for the inbound. Like, other than whatever the fuck that was, it actually got them a good shot. I don't think any team have done that. It's like in Ted Lasso when they're taking a soccer free kick and they're setting up like it's American football. Like, other than that, every team has seen everything the Fever are going to do. The problem is that they are so worried about the other team's game planning for them that she actually goes away from what they're good at. Like, we are seeing Kelsey Mitchell shoot significantly less. Like, Kelsey Mitchell at 30 because the Dallas Wings literally let her go one dribble to the basket. We are seeing Kelsey Mitchell shoot significantly less rhythm open threes. Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull do not shoot open three-pointers anymore. They don't shoot open threes. Why? Because everything was generated from the Caitlin and Aaliyah pick and roll, which they ran, four times? 4 times maybe? And I'm not counting a Caitlin and Aaliyah handoff where Caitlin runs to the sideline as a Caitlin and Aaliyah pick and roll, or Caitlin and Aaliyah doing it on the right-hand side of the floor. Left-hand side going right. That is their most dangerous offense. And I'm sorry, there's no we're not going to show this, we're not going to show that. No, every single team knows Caitlin Clark wants to run the pick and roll going right. And if you step under it, she's going to pull up because she can shoot going right now. If you play drop coverage, Aaliyah's going to pop and hit the 3-ball. If you hedge, Aaliyah's going to go in a short roll and Aaliyah's going to dribble to the basket. She's now one of the fastest bigs in the league. If you then double on Aaliyah, she's going to kick to Kelsey. Stephanie White is actively making her team generate less open looks because she's so worried about the other team out-scouting her. And all I'm going to say is, duh. Like, people are like, oh yeah, these players, they're one-dimensional. Well, yeah. Like, LeBron James, everyone kind of knows what LeBron James is doing. People are like, oh, Caitlin Clark, she drives going right and she goes to the basket, or she shoots going left. But yeah, so did LeBron James. So did LeBron. Like, it was harder to scout. I shit you not. It is harder to scout fucking, not even Melo. Who's the poor man's Melo? Who's even a poor man's Melo from back in the day? It was probably harder to scout prime Jamal Crawford than it was to scout prime LeBron James. The difference is that these players at the elite level, the other team has to scout. There's nothing you can do. There's actually nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is, as a team, what can we do to try force less pick and rolls? And the problem is that the other team is trying to force you to their B game. It's trying to force players to their B game. And Steph White, as a reactive coach, is so obsessed with winning the chess match that she actively tells her players to play their B game. She has her players playing their B game. And all that does is it turns games into chess matches. And this Fever team's good, and Steph White's a really good coach, so she can win a lot of games in chess matches. But this team's not equipped to win a title or even come close to winning a title in chess matches, especially with Caitlin Clark on the team. They're a lot more equipped. I'm sorry, if Caitlin Clark was to pull a Maya Moore, because I'm not going to even speak an injury into existence. If she was to pull a Maya Moore, the Indiana Fever would increase their chances of winning a championship. But if Steph White was to decide she was done coaching, the Fever also probably increased their likelihood of winning a championship. It's just one of those things where it's like there's mutual respect there. Steph White is a basketball nut. You can tell she watches every bit of tape. You can tell she is obsessive with the sport. You can tell Stephanie White's a real good basketball coach. And the problem is that you can look at spreadsheets and be like, look at the usage rate, look at the usage rate. It's not the usage rate, it's how the usage rate. It is all the actions that Caitlin Clark was succeeding from, she's not doing anymore. Caitlin Clark is shooting more dribble, step back threes for no reason. Caitlin Clark it's now a stage where, back in the day, Caitlin Clark has 18 points, 20 points in the game. Other than a little blip in the third quarter, it's like, I'm going to score 2 points 1 minute, and I'm going to score 2 points in 3 minutes later, and 1 assist, and like a normal point guard. If we remember 2024 Caitlin Clark would end the first quarter with 8 points and 7 assists sometimes. Because she would just go on these spurts, and then she might go into halftime with 10 points and 8 assists. Because Caitlin Clark is a runs super high and runs super low. And you got to manage that. You got to manage it. You can sometimes take her out if she's running low, or you kind of leave her in to find a rhythm. But with the way Steph White's playing, Caitlin Clark is she's playing a role she's not comfortable with. There's never a world where Caitlin Clark's a bad basketball player. There's not. But she's not comfortable. And she's not an impactful basketball player right now. I'm going to be very clear. The word impact. She is playing like a poor man's Enrique. Not even a poor man's Enrique. She's playing like what Enrique did. They're playing her like she's Enrique. She is not an impactful basketball player in this system. Caitlin Clark can end the season averaging, her rookie season, she averaged 8.2 assists and 19.2 points. She could genuinely end this year in this current system because they're looking for her more. They are trying to get her more shots. Whereas if you remember with Christy Sides was like, oh, well, we're trying to get her up to 15 shots a game. But she was hardly shooting the ball because she was running the show and passing the ball. But now it's like you're looking to try get the ball to her. It's the Jamie Tart thing. It's like, we're doing it wrong. It's like, we're all doing it wrong. It's like, you guys shouldn't be trying to play to me. Just play through me. If you play through me, I get everyone free. And the problem is, if you play to Caitlin, you can't play through Caitlin, no one gets free. Caitlin's assist numbers are going to be identical. The difference is that she doesn't generate the gravity to find Lexi open. She doesn't generate the gravity to find Sophie open. Her assist numbers, her numbers might look better. But we're getting very close to, if you remember back in those days, Caitlin Clark was, because Christy Sides wasn't even a basketball coach. People are saying like, oh, Christy Sides better. No, she wasn't. Christy Sides is not a basketball coach. She did not coach that team. She just shouted buzzwords. She was not a basketball coach. She was Chris Coughlanis. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah coached that team. Caitlin Clark fucking coached that team. I'm going to be real. She was not a basketball coach. Stephanie White is a 1,000,000 times better basketball coach than Christy Sides. But Caitlin Clark would come out of games in 2024 with 14 points, 6 assists, and 4 boards. And you would walk out saying, Caitlin Clark ran the show and they won. And she ran the whole show. Caitlin Clark can come out of a game with 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds, and you can say that was complete dog shit because we're watching the games. Caitlin's impact in the Stephanie White system is near zero because Stephanie White is basically, all the intangible things Caitlin does that don't show up on the box score, they're all gone. They are being pulled away in order to overanalyze things and try to improve Caitlin in the box score. When the box score never told us what was everything with Caitlin's game. The problem is now, Caitlin's game is reliant on makes and misses. It never was before. Caitlin Clark, in her period where everyone was like, oh my God, she's the best point guard in the league. Do you know what she shot? Do you know that she literally, one of her greatest games ever, Phoenix Mercury, where she scored or assisted on every point on a 27-2 run. Well, every point bar 3. They went on a 27-2 run. She scored or assisted on 24 of them. Do you know Caitlin Clark's shooting from that game? 4 of 14. Do you know what Nate Tibbetts came in? He literally came and said we couldn't stop Caitlin. Diana Taurasi was like, man, like in awe. She shot 4 of 14. There is no world in Stephanie White's system where Caitlin Clark can shoot 4 of 14 and have a good game. There's just not. Caitlin's impact is purely how many shots she shoots. Caitlin's impact is now being measured in the same way as Paige's. Because Paige's only impact in the game is how many points she scores. As Paige's only impact in the game, I get it, she gets assists, I get it, she does other stuff. Her actual impact on the game is her points, and she's becoming efficient. She's a better shot take. She's a better shot selection. The problem is with Stephanie White as a reactive coach is that there is a thing called overanalyzing, and it's what her success has been. Stephanie White's been successful for a reason, and Stephanie White's not going to 180 on her entire philosophy because of Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark wants to get better, and she respects Stephanie White as a coach. And why wouldn't she? Stephanie White's an exceptional coach. And the problem is that now, Caitlin Clark's best asset, which I've been saying for 2 years, is her instinct, her feel. That's gone. That has been stripped away. Her instincts and feel have been stripped away. That's not shown on a stat sheet. Caitlin Clark's entire game can now be quantified on a box score. Not even in advanced stats. It can be quantified on a box score. That was never the case. Because back in the day, you used to be able to watch Caitlin play. And even if the box score looked garbage, you're like, holy shit. Like, she's taken over. She's dominating. She is that player. Now, you can tell exactly how Caitlin played by a box score. I mean that. You can pretty much tell exactly how Caitlin played by a box score. And then by looking at her matchup and what they scored. You can, on the offensive end, you can tell exactly how she played by a box score. Because that playmaking's gone. The assist numbers might be fine. The all-world playmaker, the all-world gravity drawing all these players and throwing these crazy passes to wide open shooters, that's gone. That doesn't work in this system. And I'm being real. Stephanie White's a fantastic coach. She is. And when the Indiana Fever fire Stephanie White, she's going to walk right into another job. But look, there's an entire season of this. I've been saying from the very start, it's probably Steph or Caitlin. You probably make that decision. And if you're the Indiana Fever, as crazy as this sounds, you might go with Stephanie White. Because this is a delusional front office that believes they're Apple. And Stephanie White will make you a perpetually competent team. You will be perpetually competent. You will never be bad with Stephanie White as coach. But if Aaliyah just says, if you get a new coach and Aaliyah doesn't get like coach, and it's another situation where you have a new coach that's bad, Caitlin's stock's gone down, all of that stuff. There is a possibility that they get the next coaching hire wrong again, and then you're just fucked. You're just fucked. And people being like, oh, Caitlin doesn't want a coach killer reputation. Man, Magic Johnson had a coach killer reputation. We saw that. Michael Jordan was not that he was nothing. Michael Jordan needed Phil Jackson. He's not Phil Jackson. But yeah, that's the video. And I really need to preface all of this by saying Steph White is an exceptionally good basketball coach. If the Fever were to fire Stephanie White today, there are multiple WNBA teams that would fire their coach on the spot to hire Stephanie White. The problem is that Stephanie White, everything she is as a coach, does not suit Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston. And I understand you can quote a box score at me. I'm watching these games. This system does not suit them. they're good players. They're going to have really good games because they're exceptional players. There's a difference between players playing well and players being put in positions to succeed. You can play well despite being in a bad system. And like you can also, or being a system that doesn't suit you, and you can play badly despite being a good system. That's the thing. It just doesn't suit. And I'm going to be honest, like there is a world where the Indiana Fever are like, look, we have no fucking idea of what to do here. We're going for a championship, so we're putting Caitlin on the trade block. Like Amber Cox and Kelly Krause could pull Nico Harrison. Like it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me if they pull Nico Harrison. They're not going to do it this year because nobody's dumb enough. And I don't think the Fever should get rid of Stephanie White on the spot. Caitlin's 24 years old. If it doesn't work out this year, fuck it. It's a long career. You're going to have ups and downs in your career. Like, again, there was a time where there was no debate. Caitlin was significantly better than Paige, and Paige creeped her way up. Now there's a debate, and to be honest, in most people's eyes, Paige is above Caitlin. Like, things flip. Shea and Luca, all that stuff, it flips, and it'll flip back to Luca and Shea at some stage. But if we're being real here, at the end of this season, the Fever, my prediction is that the Fever are going to have a choice to make, because if the Fever do worse than last year, as in if they don't look like they have a chance of making the finals, something has to change. And the easiest thing for the Fever to do is fire their coach. The second, and if they believe in Stephanie White, which I think they do, there is a world. Like, I don't think it's likely. But if this season does not work out, there's a world they pull a Nico Harrison. Purely because it is difficult to build around Caitlin. It is difficult to build around Caitlin Clark if you're incompetent. So, look, I'm going to be real. Anything's on the table this season. The hope is that there's some form of middle ground and Caitlin's impact improves. But I'm being real here. Even last year, how many games did Caitlin impact? I get it, she hit all those shots against New York. Cool. How many games did she actually affect the outcome of a game? That wasn't, did she make shots or did she miss shots? Atlanta second half, Dallas when they killed them. Connecticut. The last game she played. Why? She got into the argument with Stephanie White and then ran. And Stephanie White, again, there's no sabotage. I hate that bullshit. There's no sabotage. Caitlin Clark lost to the Stephanie White, and Stephanie White literally went out in the second half and played exactly how Caitlin wanted to play, and they won. Like, she's not too stubborn to change. There's a respect level. If Caitlin says something to Steph White, she'll probably do it. Like, there is a respect level there. She's a fantastic coach. She's really good with players. But I just don't see how philosophically and just natural what they want from basketball this works out. Because they want Caitlin and Stephanie White, what she wants from Caitlin is to be Paige Bueckers. And Caitlin is not very good at being Paige Bueckers. No offense to Caitlin. She's not that good at being Paige Bueckers. I mean that.